Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare 2020 LA. Shakespeare 2020 LA is the Los Angeles division of Shakespeare Project 2020, a worldwide challenge created by Ian Desher to read the entire Shakespeare canon in 2020. Shakespeare 2020 is comprised of Los Angeles local professional actors. Our reading today is Coriolanus, and our players are Jason Rennie, Christopher Carbo, Taylor Marr, Sasha Venn, Megan Wells, Ron Dorn, Chris Klein, Richard Connolly, Emily Vasilis, Elizabeth Juvenal, Logan Chase, Emily Hall, Kimberly Keogh, and I'm Mary Carrick. Coriolanus was written between 1605 and 1608, and it is one of the last two tragedies written by Shakespeare. It was first published in the first folio of 1623. Coriolanus is the name given to a Roman general after his military success against various uprisings, challenging the government of Rome. Following his success, Coriolanus becomes active in politics and seeks political leadership. His temperament is unsuited for popular leadership and is quickly deposed, wherein he aligns himself with his enemy to set matters straight according to his own will. The alliances he forges along the way result in his ultimate downfall. The play's themes of popular discontent with government have been connected by scholars with the Midland Revolt, a series of peasant riots in 1607 that would have affected Shakespeare as a landowner in Stratford, and the debates over the charter for the City of London, which Shakespeare would have been aware of, as it affected the legal status of the area surrounding the Blackfriars Theatre. The riots of the Midlands were caused by hunger because of the enclosure of the common land. As in Lear, this is a grand study in familial relationships. Coriolanus' mother, a bit like Margaret, plays mommy and daddy in creating the entitled monster child who has anger management issues. Loyalty ultimately rests in never go against the family. We know how that all ends. So sit back, relax, or watch your back and enjoy William Shakespeare's Coriolanus.
Act 1, Scene 1. A street in Rome. Enter a company of mutinous citizens with staves, clubs, and other weapons.
Before we proceed any further, hear me speak.
Speak, speak!
You are all resolved rather to die than to famish?
Resolved, resolved!
First, you know Caius Marcius is chief enemy to the people.
We know it, we know it!
Let us kill him, and we'll have corn at our own price. It's the verdict.
No more talking ons, let it be done. Away, away!
One word, good citizens.
We are accounted poor citizens. The patricians, good. What authority surfeits on would relieve us if they would yield us but the superfluity? While it were wholesome, we might guess they relieve us humanely. But they think we are too dear. The leanness that afflicts us, the object of our misery, is as an inventory to particularize their abundance. Our sufferance is a gain to them. Let us revenge this with our pikes ere we become rakes. For the gods know I speak this in hunger for bread, not in thirst for revenge.
Would you proceed especially against Caius Marcius?
Against him first, he's a very dog to the commonalty.
Consider you what services he has done for his country.
Very well, and could be content to give him good report for it. But that he pays himself with being proud.
Nay, but speak not maliciously.
I say unto you, what he hath done famously, he did it to that end. Those soft-conscious men can be content to say it was for his country. He did it so to please his mother and to be partly proud, which he is, even to the altitude of his virtue.
What he cannot help in his nature, you account a vice in him. You must in no way say he is covetous.
If I must not, I need not be barren of accusations. He has faults with surplus to tire in repetitions. What shouts are these? The other side of the city is risen. What stay we prating here? To the Capitol.
Come, come.
Soft. Who comes here?
Worthy Menenius Agrippa, one that hath always loved the people.
He's one honest enough. Would all the rest were so.
What works my countrymen in hand? Where go you with bats and clubs? The matter, speak, I pray you.
Our business is not unknown to the Senate. They have had an inkling this fortnight what we intend to do, which now will show them in deeds. They say poor suitors have strong breaths. They shall know we have strong arms too.
Why, masters, my good friends, mine honest neighbors, will you undo yourselves?
We cannot, sir. We are undone already.
I tell you, friends, most charitable care have the patricians of you. For your wants, your suffering in this dearth, you may as well strike at the heaven with your staves as lift them against the Roman state, whose course will on the way it takes, cracking 10,000 curbs, a more strong link asunder than e'er appear in your impediment. For the dearth, the gods, not the patricians, make it, and your knees to them, not arms, must help. Alack, you are transported by calamity, thither where more attends you, and your slander the helms of the state, who care for you like fathers when you curse them as enemies.
Care for us. True, indeed. They ne'er cared for us yet. Suffer us to famish, and their storehouses crammed with grain. Make edicts for usury to support usurers. Repeal daily any wholesome act established against the rich, and provide more piercing statutes daily to chain up and restrain the poor. If the wars eat us not up, they will, and there's all the love they bear us.
Either you must confess yourselves wondrous malicious, or be accused of folly. I shall tell you a pretty tale. It may be you have heard it, but since it serves my purpose, I will venture to stale it a little more.
Well, I'll hear it, sir. Yet you must not think to fob off our disgrace with a tale. But an't please you, deliver.
There was a time when all the body's members rebelled against the belly, thus accused it, that only like a gulf it did remain in the midst of the body, idle and unactive, still coveting the viand, never bearing like labor with the rest. Where the other instruments did see and hear, devise, instruct, walk, feel, and mutually participate, did minister unto the appetite and affection common of the whole body. The belly answered,
Well, sir, what answer made the belly?
Sir, I shall tell you, with a kind of smile, which ne'er came from the lungs, but e'en thus, for look you, I may make the belly smile as well as speak. It tauntingly replied to the discontented members, the mutinous parts that envied his receipt, e'en so most fitly as you malign our senators for that they are not such as you.
Your belly's answer what? The kingly crowned head, the vigilant eye, the counsellor heart, the arm our soldier, our steed the leg, the tongue our trumpeter, with other muniments and petty helps, in this our fabric, if that they...
What then? For me this fellow speaks. What then? What then?
Should by the cormorant belly be restrained, who is the sink of the body.
Well, what then?
The former agents, if they did complain, what could the belly answer?
I will tell you, if you'll bestow a small of what you've little patience a while, you'll used to the belly answer.
You're long about it.
Note me this, good friend. Your most grave belly was deliberate, not rash like his accusers, and thus answered. True it is, my incorporate friends, quoth he, that I received the general food at first, which you do live upon. And fit it is, because I am the storehouse and the shop of the whole body. But if you do remember, I send it through the rivers of your blood, e'en to the court, the heart, the seat of the brain, and through the cranks and offices of man, the strongest nerves and small inferior veins from me receive that natural competency, whereby they live. And though that all at once you, my good friends, this says the belly, mark me.
Aye, sir. Well.
Though all at once you cannot see what I do deliver out to each, yet I can make my audit up, that all from me do back receive the flower of all, and leave me but the bran. What say you to it?
It was an answer. How apply you this?
The senators of Rome are this good belly, and you the mutinous members, for examine their counsels and their cares, digest things rightly, touching the weal of the common. You shall find no public benefit which you receive, but it proceeds or comes from them to you, and no way from yourselves. What do you think, you, the great toe of this assembly?
I, the great toe? Why the great toe?
For that, being one of the lowest, basest, poorest of this most wise rebellion, thou goest foremost. Thou rascal that art worth in blood to run, leadst first to win some vantage? But make you ready your stiff bats and clubs. Rome and her rats are at the point of battle. The one side must have bail. Hail, noble Marcius.
Thanks. What's the matter, you dissentious rogues, that rubbing the poor itch of your opinion make yourselves scabs?
We have ever your good word.
He that will give good words to thee will flatter beneath it whoring. What would you have, you curs, that like nor peace nor war? The one affrights you, the other makes you proud. He that trusts to you, where he should find you lions, finds you hares, where foxes, geese. You are no surer, no, than is the coal of fire upon the ice or hailstone in the sun. Your virtue is to make him worthy whose offense subdues him, and curse that justice did it. Who deserves greatness deserves your hate, and your affections are a sick man's appetite, who desires most that which would increase his evil. He that depends upon your favors swims with fins of lead, and hews down oaks with rushes. Hang you! Trust you! With every minute you do change a mind, and call him noble that was now your hate, him vile that was your garland. What's the matter that in these several places of the city you cry against the noble senate, who, under the gods, keep you in awe, which else would feed on one another? What's their seeking?
For corn, at their own rates, whereof they say the city is well stored.
Hang 'em. They say? They'll sit by the fire and presume to know what's done in the capital. Who's like to rise, who thrives, and who declines, side factions, and give out conjectural marriages, making parties strong and feebling such as stand not in their liking below their cobbled shoes. They say there's grain enough? Would the nobility lay aside their ruth and let me use my sword, I'd make a quarry with thousands of these corded slaves as high as I could pick my lance.
Nay, these are almost thoroughly persuaded, for though abundantly they lack discretion, yet they are passing cowardly. But I beseech you, what says the other troop?
They're dissolved. Hang 'em! They said they weren't hungry, sighed forth proverbs, that hunger broke stone walls, that dogs must eat, that meat was made for mouths, that the gods sent not corn for the rich men only. With these shreds they vented their complainings, which being answered and a petition granted them, a strange one, to break the heart of generosity and to make bold power look pale, they threw their caps, and they would hang them on the horns of the moon, shouting their emulation.
What is granted them?
5 tribunes to defend their vulgar wisdoms of their own choice. One's Junius Brutus, Sicinius Velutus, and I know not. 'Sdeath! The rabble should have first unroofed the city ere so prevailed with me. It will in time win upon power and throw forth greater themes for insurrections arguing.
'Tis strange.
Go get you home, you fragments.
Where's Caius Marcius?
Here, what's the matter?
The news is, sir, the Volsces are in arms.
I'm glad on't. Then we shall have means to vent our musty superfluity. See, our best elders.
Marcius, 'tis true that you have lately told us the Volsces are in arms.
They have a leader, Tullus Aufidius. I will put you to't. I sin in envying his nobility, and were I anything but what I am, I would wish me only he.
You have fought together.
Were half to half the world by the ears, and he upon my party, I'd revolt to make only my wars with him. He is a lion that I am proud to hunt.
Then, worthy Marcius, attend upon Cominius to these wars.
It is your former promise.
Sir, it is, and I am constant. Titus Lartius, thou shalt see me once more strike at Tullus' face. What, art thou stiff? Stand stout?
No, Caius Marcius. I'll lean upon one crutch and fight with the other, ere stay behind this business.
Oh, true bred.
Your company to the capital, where I know our greatest friends attend us.
Lead you on. Follow, Cominius. We must follow you. Right worthy your priority.
Noble Marcius.
Hence to your homes, begone!
Nay, let them follow. The Volsces have much corn. Take these wretches thither to gnaw their garners. Worshipful mutineers, your valor puts well forth. Pray, follow.
Was ever man so proud as this Marcius?
He has no equal.
We were chosen tributes for the people.
Marked you his lips and eyes.
Nay, but his taunts.
Being moved, he will not spare to gird the gods.
He mocked the modest moon.
The present wars devour him. He is grown too proud to be so valiant.
Such a nature, tickled with good success, disdains the shadow which he treads on at noon. But I do wonder his insolence can brook to be commanded under Cominius.
Fame at which he aims, in whom already he is well graced, cannot better be held, nor more attained than by a place below the first. For what miscarries shall be the general's fault, though he perform to the utmost of a man, and giddy censure will then cry out of Marcius, oh, if he had borne the business.
Besides, if things go well, opinion that so sticks on Marcius shall, of his demerits, rob Cominius.
Come, half all Cominius' honors are to Marcius, though Marcius earned them not, and his faults to Marcius shall be honors, though indeed in aught he merit not.
Let's hence and hear how the dispatch is made, and in what fashion, more than his singularity, he goes upon his present action.
Let's along.
Act 1, Scene 2. The Volsci territory. Enter Tullus Aufidius with senators of Coriolanus.
So, your opinion is, Aufidius, that they of Rome are entered in our councils and know how we proceed.
Is it not yours? Whatever have been thought on in this state that could be brought to bodily act ere Rome had intervention. 'Tis not 4 days gone since I heard thence. These are the words. I think I have the letter here. Yes, here it is. They have pressed a power, but it is not known whether for east or west. The dearth is great, the people mutinous, and it is rumored Cominius Marcius, your old enemy, who is of Rome worse hated than of you, and Titus Lartius, a most valiant Roman. These three lead on this preparation, whether 'tis bent. Most likely, 'tis for you. Consider of it.
Our army's in the field. We never yet made doubt, but Rome was ready to answer us.
Nor did you think it folly to keep your great pretenses veiled, till when they needs must show themselves, which in the hatching, it seemed, appeared to Rome. By discovery, we shall be shortened in our aim, which was to take in as many towns ere almost Rome should know we were afoot.
Noble Aufidius, take your commission, hie you to the bands. Let us alone to guard Coriolanus. If they set down before us, for the remove, bring up your army. But I think you'll find they've not prepared for us.
I doubt not that. I speak from certainties. Nay, more, some parcels of their power are forth already, and only hitherward. I leave your honors. If we and Caius Marcius chance to meet, 'tis sworn between us, we shall ever strike, till one can do no more.
The gods assist you.
And keep your honor safe.
Farewell.
Farewell, farewell.
Farewell.
Act 1, Scene 3. Rome, the home of Caius Marcius. Enter Volumnia, his mother, and Virgilla, his wife.
I pray you, daughter, sing or express yourself in a more comfortable sort. If my son were my husband, I should freelier rejoice in the absence whereon he won honor than in the embracements of his bed where he would show most love. When yet he was but tender-bodied and the only son of my womb, when youth with comeliness plucked all gaze his way, when for a day of kings' entreaties a mother should not sell him an hour from her beholding, I, considering how honor would become such a person, that it was no better than picture-like to hang it on the wall if renown made it not stir, was pleased to let him seek danger where he was to like to find fame. To a cruel war I sent him, from whence he returned, his brows bound with oak. I tell thee, daughter, I sprang not more in joy at first hearing he was a man-child than now in first seeing he had proved himself a man.
But had he died in the business, madam, how then?
Then his good report should have been my son. I therein have found issue. Hear me profess sincerely, had I a dozen sons, each in my love alike, and none less dear than thine and my good Marcius, I had rather had 11 die nobly for their country than one voluptuously surfeit out of action.
Madam, the Lady Valeria is come to visit you.
Beseech you, give me leave to retire myself.
Indeed, you shall not. Methink I hear hither your husband's drum. See him pluck Aufidius down by the hair, as children from a bear, the Volsces shunning him. Methinks I see him stamp thus and call thus, "Come on, you cowards! You were gotten fear, though you were born in Rome." His bloody brow with his mailed hand then wiping forth he goes like to a harvestman that's tasked to mow or all or lose his hire.
His bloody brow, oh Jupiter, no blood.
Away, you fool! It more becomes a man than gilt his trophy. The breasts of Hecuba, when she did suckle Hector, looked not lovelier than Hector's forehead when it spit forth blood at Grecian's sword contemning. Tell Valeria we are fit to bid her welcome.
Heavens bless my lord from fell Aufidius.
He'll beat Aufidius's head below his knee and tread upon his neck.
Ladies, both, good day to you.
Sweet madam.
I am glad to see your ladyship.
How do you both? You are manifest housekeepers. What are you sewing here? A fine spot in good faith. How does your little son?
I thank your ladyship well, good madam.
He had rather see the swords and hear a drum than look upon his schoolmaster.
Oh, my word, the father's son. I'll swear, 'tis a very pretty boy. Oh, my troth, I looked upon him, Wednesday, half an hour together. Has such a confirmed countenance. I saw him run after a gilded butterfly, and when he caught it, he let it go again, and after it again, and over he comes, and up again, catches it again. Or whether his fall enraged him or how 'twas, he did set his teeth and tear it. Oh, I warned how he mocked it.
One on's father's moods.
Indeed, lad, 'tis a noble child.
A crack, madam.
Come, lay aside your stitchery. I must have you play the idle housewife with me this afternoon.
Oh, no, good madam. I will not out of doors.
Not out of doors.
She shall.
Indeed, no, by your patience. I'll not over the threshold till my lord return from the wars.
You confine yourself most unreasonably. Come, you must go visit the good lord lady that lies in.
I will wish her speedy strength and visit her with my prayers, but I cannot go thither.
Why, I pray you?
'Tis not to save labor, nor that I want love.
You would be another Penelope, yet they say all the yarn she spun in Ulysses' absence did but fill Ithaca full of moths. Come, I would your cambric were as sensitive as your finger, that you might leave pricking it for pity. Come, you shall go with us.
No, good madam, pardon me. Indeed, I will not forth.
Go with me. I'll tell you excellent news of your husband.
Oh, good madam, there can be none yet.
Verily, I do not jest with you. There came news from him last night.
Indeed, madam.
In earnest, 'tis true. I heard a senator speak it. Thus it is. Volscians have an army forth, against whom Coriolanus, the general, is gone with one part of our Roman power. Your lord and Titus Lartius are set forth before their city Coriolanus, they nothing doubt prevailing, and to make it brief, wars. This is true, on mine honor, and so I pray, go with us.
Give me excuse, good madam. I will obey you in everything hereafter.
Let her alone, lady. As she is now, she will but disease our better mirth.
In troth, I think she will. Fare you well, then. Come, good sweet lady. Prithee, Virgilia, that turn thy solemnness out a door and go along with us.
No, at a word, madam. Indeed, I must not. I wish you much mirth.
Well, then, farewell.
Act 1, Scene 4. Before the city of Coriolanus. Enter Marcius, Titus Lartius, captains and soldiers. To them, a messenger.
Yonder comes news. A wager they have met.
My horse to yours, no.
'Tis done.
Agreed.
Say, has our general met the enemy?
They lie in view, but have not spoke as yet.
So the good horse is mine.
I'll buy him of you.
No, I'll nor sell nor give him. Lend you him, I will, for 100 years. Summon the town.
How far off lie these armies?
Within this mile and half.
Then shall we hear their larum and they ours. Now, Mars, I prithee, make us quick in work, that we with smoking swords may march from hence to help our fielded friends. Come, blow thy blast. Tullus Aufidius, is he within your walls?
No, nor a man that fears you less than he. That's lesser than a little. Hark, our drums are bringing forth our youth. We'll break our walls rather than they shall pound us up. Our gates, which yet seem shut, we have but pinned with rushes. They'll open of themselves. Hark you, far off, there is Aufidius. List what work he makes amongst your cloven army.
Oh, they are at it.
Their noise be our instruction. Ladders, ho!
They fear us not, but issue forth their city. Now put your shields before your hearts, and fight with hearts more proof than shields. Advance, brave Titus. They do disdain us much beyond our thoughts, which makes me sweat with wrath. Come on, my fellows! He that retires, I'll take him for a vulse, and he shall feel mine edge. All the contagion of the south light on you, you shames of Rome, you herd of boils and plagues plaster you o'er, that you may be abhorred farther than seen, and one infect another against the wind a mile. You souls of geese that bear the shapes of men, how have you run from slaves that apes would beat? Pluto and hell all hurt behind, backs red and faces pale with flight and agued fear. mend, and charge home, or by the fires of heaven I'll leave the foe and make my wars on you. Look to't! Come on! If you'll stand fast, we'll beat them to their wives, and they to us to our trenches. Follows! So, now the gates are up. Now prove good seconds. Is for the followers' fortunes widens them, not for the flyers. Mark me, and do the like.
Foolhardiness not I.
Nor I.
See, they have him shut in.
To the pot I warrant him.
What has become of Marcius?
Slain, sir, doubtless.
Following the flyers at the very heels, with them he enters, who upon the sudden clap to their gates. He is himself alone to answer all the city.
Oh, noble fellow, who sensibly outdares his senseless sword, and when it bows, stands up. Thou art left, Marcius, a carbuncle entire, as big as thou art, were not so rich a jewel. Thou wast a soldier, even to Cato's wish, not fierce and terrible only in strokes, but with thy grim looks, and the thunder-like percussion of thy sounds, thou madest thine enemies shake, as if the world were feverous and did tremble.
Look, sir.
Oh, 'tis Marcius! Let's fetch him off, or make remain alike.
Act 1, Scene 5. Inside Coriolanus. Enter certain Romans with spoils.
This will I carry to Rome.
And I this.
Murnt on it. I took this for silver.
See here these movers that do prize their hours at a cracked drum, cushions, leaden spoons, irons of a doit, doublets that hangmen would bury with those that wore them. These base slaves, ere yet the fight be done, pack up, down with them! And hark, what noise the general makes! To him! There's the man of my soul's hate, Aufidius, piercing our Romans. Then, valiant Titus, take convenient numbers to make good the city, whilst I, with those that have the spirit, will haste to help Cominius.
Worthy sir, thou bleedest. Thy exercise hath been too violent for a second course of fight.
Sir, praise me not. My work hath yet not warmed me. Fare you well. The blood I drop is rather physical than dangerous to me. To Aufidius thus I will appear and fight.
Now the fair goddess Fortune fall deep in love with thee, and her great charms misguide thy opposers' swords. Bold gentleman, prosperity be thy page.
My friends no less than those she placeth highest. So farewell.
Thou worthiest Marcius. Go sound thy trumpet in the marketplace. Call thither all the officers of the town, where they shall know our mind. Away!
Act 1, Scene 6. Another part of the battlefield. Enter Cominius with soldiers.
Breathe you, my friends! Well fought, we are come off like Romans, neither foolish in our stands, nor cowardly in retire. Believe me, sirs, we shall be charged again. Whilst we have struck by interims and conveying gusts, we have heard the charges of our friends. The Roman gods lead their successes as we wish our own. That both our powers, with smiling fronts encountering, may give you thankful sacrifice.
The citizens of Coriolanus have issued and given to Lartius and to Marcius battle. I saw our party to their trenches driven, and then I came away.
Though thou speakest truth, methinks thou speakst not well. How long is it since?
Oh, above an hour, my lord.
'Tis not a mile. Briefly we heard their drums. How couldst thou in a mile confound an hour, and bring thy news so late?
Spies of the Volsces held me in chase, that I was forced to wheel 3 or 4 miles about, else had I, sir, half an hour since brought my report.
Who's yonder that does appear as he were flayed? Oh gods, he has the stamp of Marcius, and I have before time seen him thus.
Am I too late?
Oh, the shepherd knows not thunder from a tabor more than I know the sound of Marcius' tongue from every meaner man.
Am I too late?
Aye, if you come not in the blood of others, but mantled in your own.
Oh, let me clip you in arms as sound as when I wooed, in heart as merry as when our nuptial day was done, and tapers burnt to bedward.
Flower of warriors, how is to Titus Lartius?
As with a man busied about decrees, condemning some to death and some to exile, ransoming him or pitying, threatening the other, holding Coriolanus in the name of Rome, even like a fawning greyhound in the leash, to let him slip at will.
Where is that slave which told me they had beat you to your trenches? Where is he? Call him hither.
Let him alone. He did inform the truth. But for our gentlemen, the common file, a plague. Tribunes for them, the mouse ne'er shunned the cat as they did budge from rascals worse than they.
But how prevailed you?
Will the time serve to tell? I do not think. Where is the enemy? Are you lords of the field? If not, why cease you till you are so?
Marcius, we have at disadvantage fought and did retire to win our purpose.
How lies their battle? Know you on which side they have placed their men of trust?
As I guess, Marcius, their bands in the Wayward are the Antiots of their best trust, o'er them Ophidius, their very heart of hope.
I do beseech you, by all the battles wherein we have fought, by the blood we have shed together, by the vows we have made to endure friends, that you directly set me against Aufidius and his Antiots, and that you not delay the present, but, filling the air with swords, advance and darts, we prove this very hour.
Though I could wish you were conducted to a gentle bath and balms applied to you, yet dare I never deny your asking. Take your choice of those that best can aid your action.
Those are they that most are willing. If any such be here, as it were a sin to doubt, that love this painting wherein you see me smeared, if any fear lesser his person than an ill report, if any think brave death outweighs bad life, and that his country's dearer than himself, let him alone, or so many so minded, wave thus to express his disposition, and follow Marcius. Ah, me alone, make you a sword of me? If these shows be not outward, which of you but is for Volsces? None of you but is able to bear against the great Aufidius a shield as hard as his. A certain number, though thanks to all must I select from all. The rest shall bear the business in some other fight, as cause will be obeyed. Please you to march, and I shall quickly draw out my command, which men are best inclined.
March on, my fellows. Make good this ostentation, and you shall divide in all with us.
Act 1, Scene 7. The city of Coriolanus. Enter Titus Lartius with a lieutenant and a scout.
So let the ports be guarded. Keep your duties as I've set them down. If I do send, dispatch those sentries to our aid. The rest will serve for a short holding. If we lose the field, we cannot keep the town.
Fear not our care, sir.
Hence and shut our gates upon us. Our guider, come, to the Roman camp conduct us.
Act 1, Scene 8. The battlefield outside Coriolanus. Enter Marcius and Aufidius.
I'll fight with none but thee, for I do hate thee worse than a promise breaker.
We hate alike. Not Africones, a serpent I abhor more than thy fame and envy. Fix thy foot.
Let the first budger die the other's slave, and the gods doom him after.
If I fly, Marcius, hollow me like a hare.
Within these 3 hours, tell us, alone I fought in your Coriolanus walls, and made what work I pleased. 'Tis not my blood wherein thou seest me masked. For thy revenge, wrench up thy power to the highest.
Wert thou the Hector that was the whip of your bragged progeny, thou should not scape me here. Officious and not valiant, you have shamed me in your condemned seconds.
Act 1, Scene 9. The Roman garrison at Coriolanus. Enter Cominius and Marcius.
If I should tell thee o'er this thy day's work, thou'd not believe thy deeds. But I'll report it where senators shall mingle tears with smiles, where great patricians shall attend and shrug, in the end admire, where ladies shall be frighted and gladly quaked, hear more, where the dull tribunes that with the fusty plebeians hate thine honours shall say, against their hearts we thank the gods our Rome hath such a soldier. Yet camest thou to a morsel of this feast, having fully dined before.
Oh, General, here's the steed, we the caparison. Hadst thou beheld?
Pray, now, no more. My mother, who has a charter to extol her blood, when she does praise me, grieves me. I have done as you have done. That's what I can. induced as you have been, that's for my country. He that has but effected his good will hath o'ertaken mine act.
You shall not be the grave of your deserving. Rome must know the value of her own. 'Twere a concealment worse than a theft, no less than a traducement to hide your doings and to silence that which, to the spire and top of praises vouched, would seem but modest. Therefore I beseech you, in sign of what you are, not to reward what you have done, before our army hear me.
I have some wounds upon me, and they smart to hear themselves remembered.
Should they not, well might they fester against ingratitude and tempt themselves with death. Of all the horses, whereof we entain good and good store, of all the treasure in this field achieved and city, we render you the 10th, to be ta'en forth before the common distribution at your only choice.
I thank you, General, but cannot make my heart consent to take a bribe to pay my sword. I do refuse it and stand upon my common part with those that have beheld the doing. May these same instruments which you profane never sound more. When drums and trumpets shall of the field prove flatterers, let courts and cities be made all of false-faced soothing. When steel grows soft as the parasite's silk, let him be made an overture for the wars. No more, I say. For that I have not washed my nose that bled, or foiled some debile wretch, which, without note, many else have done. You shout me forth in acclamations hyperbolical, as if I loved my little should be dyed in praises sauced with lies.
Too modest are you, more cruel to your good report than grateful to us that give you truly. By your patience, if gainst yourself you be incensed, we'll put you, like one that means his proper harm, in manacles, then reason safely with you. Therefore be it known, as to us, to all the world, that Caius Marcius wears this war's garland, in token of the which my noble steed, known to the camp, I give him with all his trim belonging. And from this time, for what he did before Coriolanus, call him, with all the applause and clamor of the host, Marcius Caius Coriolanus. Bear the addition nobly ever.
Marcius Caius Coriolanus.
I will go wash, and when my face is fair, you shall perceive whether I blush or no. Howbeit, I thank you. I mean to stride your steed, and at all times to undercrest your good addition to the fairness of my power.
So, to our tent, where, ere we do repose us, we will write to Rome of our success. You, Titus Lartius, must to Coriolanus back. Send us to Rome the best, with whom we may articulate for their own good and ours.
Or you shall, my lord.
The gods begin to mock me. I, that now refuse most princely gifts, am bound to beg with my lord general.
Take, 'tis yours! What is't?
I sometime lay here in Coriolanus at a poor man's house. He used me kindly. He cried to me. I saw him prisoner. Then Aufidius was within my view, and wrath overwhelmed my pity. I request you to give my poor host freedom.
Oh, well begged. Were he the butcher of my son, he should be as free as is the wind. Deliver him, Titus.
Marcius, his name?
Jupiter, forgot. I am weary. Yea, my memory is tired. Have we no wine here?
Go we to our tent. The blood upon your visage dries. 'Tis time it should be looked to. Come.
Act 1, Scene 10. Outside of Coriolanus. Enter Tullus Aufidius with soldiers.
The town is ta'en.
'Twill be delivered back on good condition.
Condition. I would I were a Roman, for I cannot, being a Volsci, be that I am. Condition. What good condition can a treaty find in the part that is at mercy? 5 times, Marcius, I have fought with thee. So often hast thou beat me, and wouldst do so. I think, should we encounter as often as we eat, by the elements, if e'er again I meet him beard to beard, he's mine, or I am his. Mine emulation hath not that honor it had, for where I thought to crush him in equal force, true sword to sword, I'll potchet him some way, or wrath or craft may get him.
He's the devil.
Bolder, though not so subtle. My valor's poisoned with only suffering stained by him. For him shall fly out of itself, nor sleep nor sanctuary, being naked, sick, nor fame, nor capital, the prayers of priests, nor times of sacrifice, embarkments all of fury, shall lift up their rotten privilege and custom gainst my hate to Marcius. Where I find him, were it at home, upon my brother's guard, even there, against the hospitable cannon would I wash my fierce hand in his heart. Go you to the city, learn how 'tis held and what they are that must be hostages for Rome.
Will not you go?
I am attended at the cypress grove. I pray you, 'tis south the city mills. Bring me word thither how the world goes, that to the pace of it I may spur on my journey.
I shall, sir.
Act 2, Scene 1. A forum in Rome. Enter Menenius with 2 tribunes of the people, Sicinius and Brutus. The augurer tells me we shall have news tonight.
Good or bad?
Not according to the prayer of the people, for they love not Marcius.
Nature teaches beasts to know their friends.
Oh, pray you, who does the wolf love?
A lamb.
I, to devour him, as the hungry plebeians would the noble Marcius.
He's a lamb indeed, that bays like a bear.
Oh, he's a bear indeed that lives like a lamb.
Hmm.
You two are old men. Tell me one thing I shall ask you.
Well, sir.
In what enormity is Marcius poor in that you two have not in abundance?
He's poor in no one fault, but stored with all.
Especially in pride.
And topping all others in boasting.
This is strange now. Do you two know how you are censured in here in the city? I mean, of us on the right-hand file, do you?
Why? How are we censured?
Because you talk of pride now. Will you not be angry?
Well, sir. Well?
Why, 'tis no great matter. For a very little thief of occasion will rob you of a great deal of patience. Give your dispositions the reins, and be angry at your pleasures, at the least, if you take it as a pleasure to you in being so. You blame Marcius for being proud.
We do it not alone, sir.
I know you can do very little alone, for your helps are many, or else your actions would grow wondrous single. Your abilities are too infant-like for doing much alone. You talk of pride. Oh, that you could turn your eyes toward the napes of your necks and make but an interior survey of your good selves. Ha! That you could.
What then, sir?
Why, then you should discover a brace of unmeriting, proud, violent, testy magistrates, alias fools, than any in Rome.
Menenius, you are known well enough too.
Oh, yes, I am known to be a humorous patrician, and one that loves a cup of hot wine with not a drop of allaying Tiber in it. Said to be something imperfect in favoring the first complaint, hasty and tender-like upon too trivial motion, one that converses more with the buttock of the night than with the forehead of the morning. What I think I utter, and spend my malice in my breath. Meeting 2 such wheelsmen as you are, I cannot call you Lycurguses. If the drink you give me touch my palate adversely, I make a crooked face at it. I cannot say your worships have delivered the matter well when I find the ass in compound with the major part of your syllables. And though I must be content to bear with those that say you are reverend grave men, yet they lie deadly that tell you have good faces. If you see this in the map of my microcosm, follows it that I am known well enough too? What harm can your Bisson conspicuities glean out of this character, if I be known well enough too?
Come, sir, come. We know you well enough.
Ah, you neither know me, yourselves, nor anything. You are ambitious for poor knaves' caps and legs. You wear out a good wholesome forenoon in hearing a cause between an orange wife and a faucet seller, and then adjourn the controversy to threepence to a second day of audience. When you are hearing a matter between party and party, if you chance to be pinched with colic, you make faces like mummers, set up the bloody flag against all patience, and in roaring for the chamber pot, dismiss the controversy bleeding, the more entangled by your hearing. All the peace you make in their cause is calling both the parties knaves. You're a pair of strange ones.
Come, come. You're well understood to be a perfect jiber for the table and a necessary bencher in the capital.
Oh, well, our very priests must become mockers if they shall encounter such ridiculous subjects as you are. When you speak best unto the purpose, it is not worth the wagging of your beards, and your beards deserve not so honorable a grave as to stuff a botcher's cushion or to be entombed in an ass's pack saddle. You must be saying Marcius is proud, who, in cheap estimation, is worth all your predecessors since Deucalion, though peradventure some of them were hereditary hangmen. A good e'en to your worships. More of your conversation would infect my brain, being the herdsman of the beastly plebeians. I will be bold to take my leave of you. Oh, how now? My as fair as noble ladies, and the moon were she earthly no nobler. Whither do you follow your eyes so fast?
Honorable Menenius, my boy Marcius approaches. For the love of Juno, let's go.
Marcius coming home?
Aye, worthy Menenius, and with most prosperous approbation.
Oh, take my cap, Jupiter, and I thank thee. Woo-hoo! Marcius coming home.
Nay.
'Tis true.
Look, here's a letter from him. The state hath another, his wife another, and I think there's one at home for you.
I will make my very house reel tonight. A letter for me?
Yes, certain there's a letter for you. I saw it.
A letter from me. It gives me an estate of 7 years' health, in which time I will make a lip at the physician. The most sovereign prescription in Galen is but empiriceutic, and to this preservative of no better report than a horse drench. Is he not wounded? Oh, he was wont to come home wounded.
Oh, no, no, no.
Oh, he is wounded. I thank the gods for it.
So do I too, if it not be too much. Brings he victory in his pocket? The wounds become him.
On's brows, Menenius, he comes the third time home with the oaken garland.
Has he disciplined Aufidius soundly?
Titus Lartius writes they fought together, but Aufidius got off.
Oh, 'twas time for him too, I'll warrant that. And he stayed by him, I would not have been so fittiest for the chests in Coriolanus and the gold that's in them. Is the Senate possessed of this?
Good ladies, let's go. Yes, yes, yes. The Senate has letters from the general, wherein he hath given my son the whole name of the war. He hath in this action outdone his former deeds doubly.
In troth, there's wonderful things spoke of him.
Wondrous, I warrant you, and not without his true purchasing.
The gods grant them true.
True, power.
True, I'll be sworn they are true. Where's he wounded? Oh, God save your good worships. Marcius is coming home. He has more cause to be proud. Where's he wounded?
In the shoulder and in the left arm. There will be large cicatrices to show the people where he will stand for his place. He received in the replus of Tarquin 7 hurts in the body.
1 in the neck and 2 in the thigh. And there's 9 that I know.
He had, Before his last expedition, 25 wounds upon him.
Now it's 27. Every gash was an enemy's grave. Oh, hark! The crowd.
These are the ushers of Marcius. Before him he carries noise, and behind him he leaves tears. Death, that dark spirit, in every nervy arm doth lie, which being advanced declines, and then men die.
Know Rome that all alone Marcius did fight within Coriolanus gates, where he hath won, with fame, a name to Marcius Caius. These in honor follows Coriolanus. Welcome to Rome, renowned Coriolanus.
Welcome to Rome, renowned Coriolanus.
No more of this. It does offend my heart. Pray not, no more.
Look, sir, your mother.
Oh, you have, I know, petitioned all the gods for my prosperity.
Nay, my good soldier, up. My gentle Marcius, worthy Caius, indeed achieving honor newly named. What is it? Coriolanus must I call thee? What? Oh, thy wife.
My gracious silence, hail. Wouldst thou have laughed had I come coffined home, that weepest to see me triumph? Oh, my dear, such eyes the widows in Coriolanus wear, and mothers that lack sons.
Now the gods crown thee.
And live you yet? Oh, my sweet lady, pardon.
I know not where to turn. Oh, welcome home, and welcome. General, you're all welcome, all.
100,000 welcomes. I could weep and I could laugh. I'm light and heavy. Welcome. A curse begin at very root on's heart that is not glad to see thee. You are three that Rome should dote on. Yet, by the faith of men, we've some old crab trees here at home that will not be grafted to your relish. But welcome. Warriors, we'll call a nettle but a nettle, and the faults of fools but folly.
Ever right.
Ninius ever.
Give way there and go on.
Your hand and yours. Ere in our own house I do shave my head, the good patricians must be visited, from whom I have received not only greetings, but with them change of honors.
I have lived to see inherited my very wishes and the buildings of my fancy. Only there's one thing wanting, which I doubt not but our Rome will cast upon thee.
No, good mother, I had rather be their servant in my way than sway with them in theirs.
On to the capital.
All tongues speak of him, and the bleared sights are spectacled to see him. Your prattling nurse into a rapture lets her baby cry while she chats him. The kitchen malkin pins her richest lockram about her reachy neck, clambering the walls to eye him. Stalls, bulks, windows are smothered up, leads filled, and ridges horsed with variable complexions, all agreeing in earnest to see him. Seld-shown flamens do press among the popular throngs and puff to win a vulgar station. Our veiled dames commit the war of white and damask in their nicely gauded cheeks to the wanton spoil of Phoebus' burning kisses. Such a pother as if that whatsoever god who leads him were slyly crept into his human powers and gave him graceful posture.
On the sudden I warrant him consul.
Then our offices may during his power go sleep.
He cannot temperately transport his honors from where he should begin and end, but will lose those he hath won.
In that there's comfort.
Doubt not the commoners for whom we stand, they upon their ancient malice will forget with the least cause these his new honors, which that he will give them make I as little question as he is proud to do it.
I heard him swear, were he to stand for counsel, never would he appear in the marketplace, nor on him put the napeless vestiture of humility, nor showing, as the manner is, his wounds to the people beg their stinking breaths.
'Tis right.
It was his word. Ugh, he would miss it rather than carry it, but by the suit of the gentry to him and the desire of the nobles.
I wish no better than have him hold that purpose and to put it in execution.
'Tis most like he will.
It shall be to him then as our good wills, a sure destruction.
So it must fall out to him, or our authorities for an end. We must suggest the people in what hatred he still hath held them, that to power he would have made them mules, silenced their pleaders, and dispropertied their freedoms, holding them in human action and capacity of no more soul nor fitness for the world than camels in their war, who have their provend only for bearing burdens, and sore blows for sinking under them.
This, as you say, suggested at some time when his soaring insolence shall touch the people, which time shall not want if he be put upon it. And that's as easy as to set dogs on sheep. Will be his fire to kindle their dry stubble, and their blaze shall darken him forever.
What's the matter?
You are sent for to the capital. 'Tis thought that Marcius shall be consul. I have seen the dumb man throng to see him, and the blind man to hear him speak. Matrons flung gloves, laids and maids their scarves and handkerchiefs upon him as he passed. The nobles bended as to Jove's statue, and the commons made a shower and thunder with their capes and shouts. I never saw the like.
Let's to the capital, and carry with us ears and eyes for the time, but hearts for the event.
Have with you.
Act 2, Scene 2, a hall in the Roman capital. Enter 2 officers.
Come, come, they're almost here. How many stand for consulships?
3, they say, but 'tis thought of everyone Coriolanus will carry it.
That's a brave fellow, but he's vengeance proud and loves not the common people.
Faith, there have been many great men that have flattered the people who ne'er loved them, and there be many that they have loved they knew not wherefore. So that, if they love they know not why, they hate upon no better a ground. Therefore, for Coriolanus neither to care whether they love or hate him manifests the true knowledge he has in their disposition, and out of his noble carelessness lets them plainly see it.
If he did not care whether he had their love or no, he waved indifferently, twixt doing them neither good nor harm. But he seeks their hate with greater devotion than they can render it him, and leaves nothing undone that may fully discover him their opposite. Now, to seem to affect the malice and displeasure of the people is as bad as that which he dislikes, to flatter them for their love.
He hath deserved worthily of his country, and his ascent is not by such easy degrees as those who, having been supple and courteous to the people, bonneted, without any further deed, to have them at all into their estimation and report. But he hath so planted his honors in their eyes and his actions in their hearts, that for their tongues to be silent, and not confess so much, were a kind of ingrateful injury. To report otherwise were a malice that, giving itself the lie, would pluck reproof and rebuke them from every ear that heard it.
No more of him. He's a worthy man. Make way. They're coming.
Having determined of the Volsces and to send for Titus Lartius, it remains, as the main point of this, our after meeting, to gratify his noble service that hath thus stood for his country. Therefore please you, most reverend and great elders, to desire the present consul and last general in our well-found successes to report a little of that worthy work performed by Marcius Caius Coriolanus, whom we met here both to thank and to remember with honors like himself.
Speak, good Cominius. Leave nothing out for length, and make us think rather our state's defective for requital, than we to stretch it out. Masters of the people, we do request your kindest ears, and, after your loving motion towards the common body, to yield what passes here.
We are convented upon a pleasing treaty and have hearts inclinable to honor and advance the theme of our assembly.
Which the rather we shall be blessed to do if he remember a kinder value of the people than he hath hereto prized them at.
That's off, that's off. I would you rather had been silent. Please you to hear Cominius speak.
Most willingly, but yet my caution was more pertinent than the rebuke you gave it.
He loves your people, but tie him not to be their bedfellow. Worthy Cominius, speak. Nay, nay, keep your place.
Sit, Coriolanus. Never shame to hear what you have nobly done.
Your honors, pardon. I had rather have my wounds to heal again than hear say how I got them.
Sir, I hope my words dispensed you not.
No, sir. Yet oft, when blows have made me stay, I fled from words. You soothe not, therefore hurt not. But your people, I love them as they weigh.
Pray you sit down.
I had rather have one scratch my head at the sun when the alarm were struck than idly sit to hear my nothing's monster.
Masters of the people, your multiplying spawn, how can he flatter that's 1,000 to 1 good one, when you now see he'd rather venture all his limbs for honor than one unseers to hear it? Proceed, Cominius.
I shall lack voice. The deeds of Coriolanus should not be uttered feebly. It is held that valor is the chiefest virtue, and most dignifies the haver. If it be, the man I speak of cannot in the world be singly counterpoised. At 16 years, when Tarquin made a head for Rome, he fought beyond the mark of others. Our then dictator, whom, with all praise I point at, saw him fight when with his Amazonian chin he drove the bristled lips before him. He bestrid an o'erpressed Roman, and in the council's view slew 3 opposers. Tarquin's self he met and struck him on his knee. In that day's feats, when he might act the woman in the scene, he proved best man of the field, and for his meed was brow bound with the oak. His pupil age man entered thus. He waxed like a sea, and in the brunt of 17 battles since, he lurched all swords of the garland. For this last, before and in Coriolanus, let me say I cannot speak him home. He stopped the flyers, and by his rare example made the coward turn terror into sport. As weeds before a vessel under sail, so men obeyed and fell below his stem. His sword, death's stamp, where it did mark, it took. From face to foot he was a thing of blood, whose every motion was timed with dying cries. Alone he entered the mortal gate of the city, which he painted with shunless destiny. Aedlus came off, and with the sudden reinforcement struck Coriolanus like a planet. Now all's his, when by and by the din of war gan pierce his ready sense. Then straight his doubled spirit requickened what in flesh was fatigate, and to the battle he came, where he did run reeking o'er the lives of men as if 'twere a perpetual spoil, until we called both field and city ours. He never stood to ease his breast with panting.
Worthy man.
He cannot but with measure fit the honors which we devise him.
Our spoils he kicked at, and looked upon things precious as they were the common muck of the world. He covets less than misery itself would give, rewards his deeds with doing them, and is content to spend the time to end it.
It's right, noble. Let him be called for.
Call Coriolanus.
He doth appear.
The Senate, Coriolanus, are well pleased to make the council.
I do owe them still my life and services.
It then remains that you do speak to the people.
I do beseech you, let me o'erleap that custom, for I cannot put on the gown, stand naked, and entreat them for my wound's sake to give their suffrage, please you, that I may pass this door.
Sir, the people must have their voices. Neither will they bate one jot of ceremony.
Them not to it. Pray you, go fit you to the custom, and take to you, as your predecessors have your honor with your form.
It is a part that I shall blush in acting and might well be taken from the people.
Mark you that.
But to brag unto them, thus I did, and thus show them the unaching scars which I should hide, as if I had received them for the hire of their breath only.
Do not stand punt. We recommend to you the tribunes of the people our purpose to them, and to our noble council wish we all joy and honor.
To Coriolanus come all joy and honor.
You see how he intends to use the people?
May they perceive his intent. He will require them, as if he did contemn what he requested, to be in them to give.
Come, we will inform them of our proceedings here. On the marketplace, I know they do attend us.
Act 2, Scene 3. A street in Rome. Enter citizens.
Once, if he do require our voices, we ought not to obey him.
We may, sir, if we will.
We have
Yeah.
power in ourselves to do it, but it is a power that we have no power to do. For it he shows us his wounds and tells us his deeds. We are to put our tongues into those wounds and speak for them. So, if he tell us his noble deeds, we must also tell him our noble acceptance of them. Ingratitude is monstrous. And for the multitude to be ingrateful were to make a monster of the multitude, of which we, being members, should bring ourselves to be monstrous members.
And to make us no better thought of, a little help will serve. For once we stood up about the corn, he himself stuck not to call us the many-headed multitude.
We have been called so of many, not that our heads are some brown, some black, some Abram, some bald, but that our wits are so diversely colored. And truly, I think if all our wits were to issue out of one skull, they would fly east, west, north, south, and their consent of one direction way should be at once to all the points of the compass.
Think you so? Which way do you judge my wit would fly?
Nay, your wit will not so soon out as another man's will. 'Tis strongly wedged up in a blockhead. But if it were at liberty, 'twould sure. Southward.
Why that way?
To lose itself in a fog, where, being there parts melted away with rotten dews, the fourth would return for conscience sake, to help to get thee a wife.
You are never without your tricks. You may.
Are you all resolved to give your voices? But that's no matter. The greater part carries it. I say, if we would incline to the people, there was never a worthier man. Here he comes, and in the gown of humility. Mark his behavior. We are not to stay all together, but to come by him where he stands, by ones, by twos, and by threes. He is to make his requests by particulars, wherein every one of us has a single honor in giving him our own voices, with our own tongues. Therefore, follow me, and I'll direct you how you shall go by him.
Content.
Oh, sir, you are not right. Have you not known the worthiest men have done it?
What must I say? I pray, sir. Plague upon't, I cannot bring my tongue to such a pace. Look, sir, my wounds. I got them in my country's service when some certain of your brethren roared and ran from the noise of our own drums.
Be the gods, you must not speak of that. You must desire them to think upon you.
Think upon me? Think upon me? Hang 'em. I would they would forget me, like the virtues which our divines lose by 'em.
You'll mar all. I'll leave you. Pray you, speak to them. I pray you in wholesome manner.
Bid them wash their faces and keep their teeth clean. So, here comes a brace. You know the cause, sir, of my standing here?
We do, sir. Tell us what hath brought you to it.
Mine own deserts.
Your own deserts?
Aye, but not mine own desire.
How not your own desire?
No, sir, 'twas never my desire yet to trouble the poor with begging.
You must think if we give you anything, we hope to gain by you.
Well then, I pray, your price of the consulship?
The price is to ask it kindly.
Kindly, sir, I pray, let me hat. I have wounds to show you, which shall be yours in private. Your good voice, sir, what say you?
You shall have worthy, sir.
A match, sir. There's in all 2 worthy voices begged. I have your alms. Adieu.
But this is something odd.
And Twerdieve again. It is no matter.
Pray you now, if it may stand with the tune of your voices that I may be consul, I have here the customary gown.
You have deserved nobly of your country, and you have not deserved nobly.
Your enigma?
You have been a scourge to her enemies. You have been a rod to her friends. You have not indeed loved the common people.
You should account me the more virtuous that I have not been common in my love. I will, sir, flatter my sworn brother, the people, to earn a dearer estimation of them. 'Tis a condition they account gentle. And since the wisdom of their choice is rather to have my hat than my heart, I will practice the insinuating nod and be off to them most counterfeitly. That is, sir, I will counterfeit the bewitchment of some popular man and give it bountiful to the desirers. Therefore, beseech you, I may be consul.
We hope to find you our friend, and therefore give you our voices heartily.
You have received many wounds for your country.
I will not seal your knowledge with showing them. I will make much of your voices, and so trouble you no farther.
The gods give you joy, sir, heartily.
Most sweet voices. Better it is to die, better to starve, than crave the hire which first we do deserve. Why in this wolvish toad should I stand here to beg of Hob and Dick that does appear their needless vouches? Custom calls me to't. What custom wills, in all things should we do't? The dust on antique time would lie unswept, and mountainous error be too highly heaped for truth to o'erpeer. Rather than fool it so, let the high office and the honor go to one that would do thus. I am half through. The one part suffered, the other will I do. Here come more voices. Your voices! For your voices I have fought, watched for your voices bear of wounds 24 odd. Battles thrice 6 I have seen and heard of. For your voices have done many things, some less, some more. Your voices! Indeed, I would be consul.
He has done noble and cannot go without any honest man.
Therefore let him be consul. The gods give him joy, make him good friend to the people.
Amen, amen. God save thee, noble counsel.
Worthy voices.
You stood your limitation, and the tribunes endue you with the people's voice. Remains that in the official marks invested, you anon do meet the Senate.
Is this done?
Custom of request you have discharged. The people do admit you and are summoned to meet anon upon your approbation.
Where? At the Senate House?
There, Coriolanus.
May I change these garments?
You may, sir.
That I'll straight do, and knowing myself again, repair to the Senate House.
I'll keep you company. Will you go along?
We stay here for the people.
Fare you well. He has it now, and by his looks, methinks 'tis warm at his heart.
With a proud heart he wore his humble weeds. Will you dismiss the people?
How now, my masters? Have you chose this man?
He has our voices, sir.
We pray the gods he may deserve your loves.
Amen, sir. To my poor unworthy notice, he mocked us when we begged our voices.
Certainly, he flouted us downright.
No, 'tis his kind of speech. He did not mock us.
Not one amongst us, save yourself, but says he used us scornfully. He should have showed us his marks of merit, wounds received for his country.
Why, so he did, I am sure.
No man saw him. He said he had wounds which he could show in private, and with his hat thus waving it in scorn, I would be counsel, says he, aged custom, but by your voices will not permit me so. Your voices, therefore. When we granted that, here was, I thank you for your voices, thank you, your most sweet voices. Now you have left your voices, I am no further with you. Was not this mockery?
Why, either were you ignorant to see it, or seeing it of such childish friendliness to yield your voices?
Could you not have told him as you were lessoned? When he had no power, but was a petty servant to the state, he was your enemy, ever spake against your liberties and the charters that you bear in the body of the wheel. And now, arriving a place of potency and sway of the state, if he should still malignantly remain a fast foe of the plebei, your voices might be curses to yourselves. You should have said that as his worthy deeds did claim no less than what he stood for, so his gracious nature would think upon you for your voices, and translate his malice towards you into love, standing your friendly lord.
Thus to have said, as you were foreadvised, had touched his spirit and tried his inclination. From him plucked either his gracious promise, which you might, as cause had called you up, have held him to, or else it would have called his surly nature, which easily endures not article tying him to aught. So putting him to rage, you should have taken the advantage of his choler and passed him unelected.
Did you perceive? He did solicit you in free contempt when he did need your loves. And do you think that his contempt shall not be bruising to you when he hath power to crush? Why had your bodies no heart among you? Or had you tongues to cry against the rectorship of judgment?
Have you ere now denied the asker? Now again of him that did not ask but mock, bestow your suit for tongues?
He's not confirmed. We may deny him yet.
And will deny him. I'll have 500 voices of that sound.
I twice 500, and their friends to piece 'em.
Get you hence instantly, and tell those friends they have chose a council that will from them take their liberties, make them of no more voice than dogs that are as often beat for barking, and therefore kept to do so.
Let them assemble, and on a safer judgment, all revoke your ignorant election. Enforce his pride and his old hate unto you. Besides, forget not with what contempt he wore the humble weed, how in his suit he scorned you. But your loves, thinking upon his services, took from you the apprehension of his present portents, which most gibingly and gravely he did fashion after the inveterate hate he bears you.
Lay a fault on us, your tribunes, that we labored no impediment between, but that you must cast your election on him.
Say you chose him more after our commandment than as guided by your own true affections, and that your minds, preoccupied with what you rather must do than what you should, made you against the grain to voice some counsel. Lay the fault on us.
Aye, spare us not. Say we read lectures to you, how youngly he began to serve his country, how long he continued, and what stock he springs of, the noble house of the Martians, from where he came, that Ancus Martius, Numa's daughter's son, who after great Hostilius here was king. Of the same house, Publius and Quintus were, that our best water brought by conduits hither. And Censorinus, that was so surnamed, and nobly named so, twice being censor, was his great ancestor.
one thus descended that hath besides well in his person wrought to be set high in place, we did commend to your remembrances. But you have found, scaling his present, bearing with his past, that he's your fixed enemy, and revoke your sudden approbation.
Say you ne'er had done't. Harp on that still, but by our putting on, and presently, when you have drawn your number, repair to the capital.
We will so. Almost all repent in their election.
Let them go on. This mutiny were better in hazard than stay, passed out for greater. If, as his nature is, he fall in rage with their refusal, both observe and answer the vantage of his anger.
To the capital come. We will be there before the stream of the people, and this shall seem as partly 'tis their own, which we have goaded onward.